Hi, I'm Kinley Sample, and I'm going to be doing a literacy presentation on my Module 2 paper, Utopia, a Non-Perfect Society. This paper was an analysis on the book called Utopia, written by Thomas More in the 15th century. He used satire and fiction in his book to poke fun at the idea of a perfect society. This perfect society came from the ideas of England at the time, and that was his home country. So he was poking fun at how they viewed things and did things in their everyday life. Utopia, by definition, is an ideal place of perfection, especially in laws and government and social conditions, which is what More intended to create in his book, but it slowly became the opposite, being a dystopian society, which, by definition, is an imagined world or society in which people lead wretched, dehumanized, and fearful lives. In his utopian society, there was no concept of money. He made sure to not have any concepts of materialistic ideas, money, and anything that was crime related due to that aspect because of the ideas in England where all of their leaders strived for power and were money hungry, leaving their citizens with almost nothing. He forced the citizens in the utopian society to work, but they were not compensated with money because there was no concept of it. They were instead only rewarded with happiness, and they had the same lifestyle as everyone around them. They were only given the necessities to live and being in healthcare, houses, jobs, food, etc. No one was competing with someone else in order to live or seem as though they had a better lifestyle than the person that they were living next to. Going back to what I was referring to earlier with crime, that was also another big part of More's utopian society. He believed that because that there was no money, he thought that there would be no crime relating to that, like no stealing or anything of the sorts in his society, which was a problem in Europe. This also transferred over to their government, and this can be shown by a quote from Utopia Book 1 saying that, should government aim to deter crime through harsh penalties or prevent it by looking at the root of the economic causes? These features slowly but surely did turn More's idea of a perfect society into what we now believe a dystopian society would be, because it showed many traits of communism, and that even today is not viewed as good or healthy or a manageable living condition for a government and a society of people to be in. Thomas More incorporated all of these ideas and themes of wealth, power, government beliefs, and so on into his book to show and highlight all of the problems and especially the political state of Europe and how at that time in the world it was just a mess and chaos. He really wanted his message to show through this book that he wanted people to know that money was not everything. Money wasn't everything to everyone because they all had very materialistic ideas. And he thought that that was wrong, and he thought that people should just be happy and that they shouldn't have to worry about money 24/7, and that it would make their lives a lot easier in the end because they would be a lot less stressed. And he also really believed that the political leaders at the time were failing them because they were so worried about money and they were so money hungry that in the end, because of those traits of the leaders, they would just leave their citizens with nothing. They would leave them in poverty, they would leave them poor and on the streets, but it didn't matter because they had their money. And that was really the whole message of More's utopian society and how he poked fun at the world that he was living in at that time in Europe during the 15th century. Thank you for your time, and I will list all of my citations at the end. Thank you.